London, in the early 1700s, was not yet the confident capital of a global empire. It was a city, still recovering, still rebuilding, still arguing with itself. By the start of the 18th century, more than 600,000 people lived here. It was already one of the largest cities in Europe. But it was crowded, unequal, and uneasy. A place of opportunity and danger, often at the same time. In this video, I use modern AI tools to bring historic paintings, engravings, and prints to life, allowing us to shift perspective, change camera angles, and move through the same scenes in ways their original artists never could. For a moment, we are not just looking at old images, we are walking through them. First, I want to talk about the river that made London possible. This view shows the River Thames. This view shows the River Thames in the early 1700s, wide and busy, cutting through the heart of London. The camera looks down from above. The water is brown and restless. Sailing ships, coal barges, and small rowing boats crowd the surface. On the near bank, warehouses lean toward the river. On the far side, church towers rise through smoke and mist. The air smells of wet wood, tar, and refuse. You hear shouting, sailors creaking ropes, splashing oars. The Thames was London's main road. Food, fuel, people, and news all arrived by water. By 1700, nearly everything the city needed passed along this river. But the river was also dangerous. People fell in and drowned. Disease spread easily through polluted water. In winter, the river sometimes froze. During the Great Frost of 1683 to 84, markets and fairs were held directly on the ice. Today, the Thames is cleaner and controlled by embankments. But it still follows the same path that shaped London's rise. This view shows London Bridge. This view shows London Bridge, the only bridge across the Thames for centuries. By the early 1700s, the bridge was already old. It was narrow, crowded, and lined with buildings on both sides. Houses and shops sit directly on the bridge. Their upper floors lean inward, blocking light and air. The river surges violently through the narrow arches. Below, people move slowly. Carts jam the roadway. Vendors shout, pickpockets work the crowd. Crossing the bridge could take an hour. The bridge was also a place of fear. For generations, the heads of executed traitors were displayed on spikes above the South Gate. Even in the 1700s, the memory lingered. Yet, London Bridge mattered. It connected North and South London. It controlled trade and movement. In 1758, many of its buildings were finally removed. By 1831, the medieval bridge itself was replaced. Today, a modern bridge stands nearby. But this crossing remains one of the city's oldest points of connection. This view shows St. Paul's Cathedral. This view shows St. Paul's Cathedral, newly rebuilt and dominating the skyline. By 1710, Sir Christopher Wren's great cathedral was largely complete. It rose from the ashes of the Great Fire of 1666. The dome is massive, pale stone against a smoky sky. From miles away, it can be seen above rooftops and church spires. Bells echo across the city. Clergy, merchants, and visitors gather on the steps. The space feels vast and controlled. Light filters down from the dome. The noise of the city fades. St. Paul's symbolized recovery. After fire destroyed much of London, this building stood for order and renewal. But outside, the city was still chaotic. Narrow streets pressed close. Poor neighborhoods surrounded the great church. Today, St. Paul's still stands at the same site. It remains one of London's most powerful landmarks. This view shows the streets of the city. This view shows a narrow street in the city of London, early in the 1700s. The camera moves at walking height. Timber and brick houses crowd together. Upper floors almost touch above the street. The ground is muddy and uneven. Open drains run down the center. You hear footsteps, horse hooves, arguments, laughter. The smell is strong smoke, food, waste, animals. Shop signs hang overhead. Many people cannot read, so pictures matter more than words. Fire was a constant threat. Candles burned day and night. One spark could destroy an entire street. After the Great Fire, building rules improved. Brick replaced wood in many areas. Streets were widened slightly, but overcrowding remained a problem for generations. Some of these street patterns still exist today, hidden beneath modern London. This view shows Covent Garden. This view shows Covent Garden, one of London's busiest market areas. By the 1700s, it was a place of food, noise, and entertainment. Stalls fill the square. Vegetables, fruit, meat, and flowers are piled high. Carriages arrive constantly. Street performers sing and joke. Crowds gather around them. At night, the area changes. Theaters light up nearby. Prostitutes, gamblers, and pickpockets appear. Covent Garden mixed classes in a rare way. The wealthy came for culture. The poor came to work. Crime was common. Policing was limited. Most justice depended on witnesses and reputation. Today, Covent Garden survives as a commercial and cultural space, though its rough edges are gone. This view shows the Royal Exchange. This view shows the Royal Exchange, the financial heart of the city. By 1700, London was becoming a center of global trade. Merchants gather beneath covered walkways. The camera moves through groups of men in dark coats and wigs. They talk rapidly. Deals are made by word and handshake. News travels fast here. Ships arriving from the Americas, Africa, and Asia change fortunes overnight. But this wealth relied on risk. Ships were lost, markets collapsed. The exchange helped turn London into a financial power. Institutions like the Bank of England, founded in 1694, grew in importance. Today, London remains a global financial center, built on foundations laid here. This view shows the docks and shipyards. This view shows the docks along the Thames. Masts fill the skyline like a forest. Ships are loaded and unloaded by hand. You see barrels of sugar, tobacco, rum, and tea. Much of this trade is tied to slavery and colonial exploitation. Dock workers strain under heavy loads. Injuries are common. Pay is uncertain. The docks connected London to the wider world. They brought wealth, but also moral cost. Over time, the docks expanded eastward. By the 1800s, vast dock systems dominated the river. Today, many old docklands have been transformed into modern neighborhoods. This view shows Westminster. This view shows Westminster, the political center of Britain. The Houses of Parliament sit beside the river. Nearby stands Westminster Abbey. By the early 1700s, power here was shifting. The monarchy still mattered, but Parliament was growing stronger. Queen Anne ruled until 1714. After her death, the Hanoverian kings took the throne. Politics were loud and personal. Crowds gathered during debates and trials. Pamphlets spread arguments through the city. This area shaped the future of Britain's government. Today, Westminster remains the heart of British politics. This view shows London's poorer districts. This view shows a poorer neighborhood on the city's edge. Small rooms are packed with families. Light barely enters. Children work from a young age. Disease spreads quickly. Plague outbreaks were less severe than before, but fear remained. Smallpox and typhus were common. Charity existed, but it was limited. Workhouses expanded during this period. These districts remind us that London's growth was unequal. Modern London still carries traces of these divisions. This view shows London looking forward. This view shows London at dawn, early 1700s. The skyline is low but dense. Church spires and the dome of St. Paul's stand out. Smoke rises slowly. The city is waking up. London is not yet an empire's capital, but the systems are forming. Trade, finance, politics, and population are aligning. Over the next century, London will expand outward and outward again. Standing here, the future feels close. For a moment, the past no longer feels distant. The streets feel narrow again. The river feels alive. A allows us to step closer, to see, to move, to imagine. If there's another city, moment, or street you'd like to explore this way, let me know in the comments. Again, thank you so much.